Welcome to Mission Possible, delivering cleaner fuel today, brought to you by CEMA, Connecticut Energy Marketers Association, representing 600 family-run home heating fuel companies in Connecticut and the greater New England region. Today's episode was recorded live from the Southern New England Energy Conference in Newport, Rhode Island, and highlights how our members are delivering a cleaner, greener fuel today. Welcome to the latest episode of Mission Possible. I'm your host, Shelly Sindland. And on today's show, we have Greg Stafstrom and his son Jack from Springbrook Ice and Fuel Service in New Britain, Connecticut. This is the first time we've had two people on the podcast, so we're happy to have you both. Thanks so much for being here. Greg, let's start with you. Tell us a little bit about your company's history.
Our company was founded in 1918, so we're 100 plus years old. I am the third generation, although not related to the founding fathers. The uncle, nephew, I was not related, but I had started working at the business when I was a senior in high school and then went on to get a college degree and was offered to take the business over. And beside me, I have my son.
And my name is Jack Stafstrom. I'm the current dispatch manager at Springbrook. So I've worked in the business since I was about 15, 16 years old. Usually always joke, I've worked there as long as I could pick up a sleeve of ice and go out on the truck and help deliver ice to all the package stores and convenience stores that we deliver to. Currently, I've been out of college now for 3 years, being full-time in the business. So definitely seeing a lot changing over that time period over the last 10 or so years. And it's definitely, I think an exciting time as all these changes come about for the future of our industry.
And maybe we can take a deeper dive into those changes. We have heard from previous guests who have talked about how the product that we deliver is not the same product that your grandparents or parents used, even in the 80s or the 90s. It's changed dramatically. Greg, do you want to kind of take us through that and how things are changing?
Certainly. Well, we market home heating oil primarily to residential homes and some small commercial businesses. The sulfur content and so on of home heating oil has changed dramatically, as well as the efficiency of the product and appliances that we use. So where we're really headed in the industry and what is so exciting for a company like ours that's over 100 years old is that the industry is moving towards biofuel and that will be fully renewable. So as the federal government and mandates come down about, eliminating fossil fuels and global warming and all the buzzwords we hear today, our industry is well positioned to move forward to a fully renewable fuel, sustain and allow people to use the same equipment with a few modifications and make us zero carbon versus scenarios that the government is pushing of electrification, et cetera.
Jack, when you hear about this and how the business has changed, you're a younger guy, and obviously the environment is a huge concern for anyone, no matter what the age. But when you hear your dad talking about how the fuel has changed, I think a lot of people don't quite understand this. And that's my job, is to help people understand this is not the same product that was out here 10, 20 years ago. It has changed dramatically. We've pretty much removed most sulfur from the home heating oil, which is mixed with biodiesel, which is a renewable liquid green fuel made from discarded cooking oil, soybean matter, leftover waste, stuff that would end up in a landfill is in your tank. If you use home heating oil, this is what's in your tank. It's an exciting time. What does this mean to you, Jack, being involved in a business that's growing, changing, meeting, clients and customers want a greener, cleaner fuel, correct? I mean, what are you hearing from them?
Yeah, I think that's a big topic right now, is a cleaner fuel. And I think for the most part, people, when they hear oil, think that it's messy, dirty. So the good news is here now that we can change the story a little bit. This is a cleaner product, that's better for the environment. And we can start to tell that story that, we can also get to net zero using these kinds of fuels and be cleaner for the future. I think this is something that a consumer does consider now. So it's something that we really need to keep pushing and keep telling our story so that we can also be heard. We can also achieve a lot of these goals and mandates that are being set, either federally or in our own states. So I think, again, keep upping the bio levels if possible. Coming out with new equipment, all these burners now and things that run in people's homes can run on B100 fuels. Obviously, we're not there yet. Making the updates and have the technology to get there. So I think we need to keep telling that story, keep doing the best that we can to promote this because it is definitely our future.
Did you want to add to that, Greg?
Yeah, I was just going to say, though, I think the whole connection and the great part of this as our industry has this technology and innovation is that we can still have our core values. Our business was founded as a natural ice company where we delivered ice long before refrigeration and then evolved into a home heating oil company in the World War II era where we delivered to people's homes. But this whole innovation in renewable fuels is going to carry our industry for another generation or more beyond. And what it affords us is that we can still provide that hometown personal service. A company like ours is, very connected to the community. We do an awful lot to support the community, nonprofit organizations, our employees volunteer, time, talent, treasure. So this is just such an exciting time to turn the corner, have a product that, will be able to sustain this industry, but afford consumers who are concerned about the environment or even some of the mandates to allow us to continue as multi-generational businesses. Jack and I, being third and fourth generation, or many of the other peers that are in Connecticut and throughout the Northeast that will be able to continue, that whole concept of an independent personal firm instead of a large utility that's selling electricity or natural gas.
Well, we all know when you're dealing with a smaller company, chances are you have a better customer service because you can actually pick up the phone and you can call someone and get someone stateside whom you know who's going to help you. And that is something to be applauded and celebrated.
We have multi-generations of customers. It's not uncommon that, folks' grandchildren are now first-time homeowners and, their parents bought oil from us, their grandparents bought oil from us. These are some of Jack's peers that, even in my world to watch these young people that, we were involved with youth sports or, in different activities in the community are now becoming our customers. But we just have to keep, waving that flag to promote bioheat and to promote renewable. And, I'm not sure the average consumer always knows that it's something different. And, but I think we just have such a future of this product and with the improvements that are being made that we will, that will be impactful. Certainly we try to promote some of that, whether it be on websites or social media, et cetera, to, begin, we all as an industry have to begin to educate the consumers.
Exactly. And I do think the reason why a lot of consumers don't understand is because they're not cutting a big check. This is something that we can do without the expensive upgrade. Usually if something's new and different, it costs a lot of money. And in this case, it still works in the equipment that you have. And that's a big bonus and plus for us. Jack, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think he touched on it there that really the education is the biggest component to this. I think a lot of times people are naive what all these things cost, when they say, we're going to run everything off of electricity. Well, what does it cost to upgrade your system, even if there's tax credits and things of that nature? A lot of times on a standard home, that could be anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000. How long does it take to recoup that cost if you upgrade your system like that? With these cleaner fuels, we can make adjustments to the burners for something more like hundreds of dollars versus thousands of dollars. So again, I think it's really the education level to say we already have existing tanks in all of these homes. We're delivering a cleaner fuel now. So let's keep working at it to get to net zero to meet these mandates for the future and keep adapting.
So, yes, go on.
I was just going to say, to piggyback on what Jack is saying, what's really going to happen with this product is there's going to be market growth because, as Jack just touched, a lot of folks don't realize how expensive it will be to make a conversion. And a great example here, even in the state of Connecticut, is there was such an uproar with the electric bills and the Eversource bills and so on in the month of July. And, almost to the point of a revolt. We can continue to to deliver our message and market and educate consumers, we really have an upper hand here and an advantage as we move forward, because there will be little cost for folks to keep the equipment they have in their home. And most importantly, like I touched on a little earlier, to continue to have that personal service. We're not a utility. We're answering the phone after hours. We're responding to an emergency service call in an hour's time. We're, out there on Christmas Day a couple years ago, one of the coldest days of winter. We're out responding to service calls. I mean, nobody wants to wake up on Christmas Day and find out you have no heat or you have a house full of company coming. Well, isn't it kind of nice that you can rely on a company like Springbrook or our peers that will be there for you versus, a utility or maybe, an independent contractor that's going to, charge you an awful lot of money, where many of our customers, have service contracts, have relationships with us. So the greatest part of the renewable fuel, kind of like Jack and I have both touched on, is you don't have to make a lot of upgrades to your equipment, or there's not a big expense.
Right, and some people have said it could be as much as 40,000 to upgrade your home. It just really depends where you're at, how much electricity you need, and what needs to be revamped, right? So it's a huge cost. Um, Obviously, this makes you excited about the future, right? The transition that you're heading. What are some of the concerns that you would like to articulate regarding your industry in the future? Is it the push for electrification from the state of Connecticut, from some of those in Hartford who want to see an all-electric future?
Yeah, I would say absolutely. You know, and it's not just the state of Connecticut, it's, federal mandates, and it's all the buzz about global warming and all those type of things that, that's probably the biggest threat. And I think it's that, even scenario of how is all that going to work? A lot of these incentives and so on, they might be providing people aren't necessarily, folks that want to convert their entire home. They might just want to be supplementing their home and so on. So, it's, it's going to be a balance, but as we reiterated, you can use the same equipment and don't have to do all that and go through all that. There is a bright future, further integrate this product into the marketplace.
Did you want to add to that, Jack?
Yeah, I think just for me, cost is a huge thing. So, everybody is saying to electrify, electrify, electrify. That will get us to net zero. But what's the real cost, behind that? As we touched, electric rates are higher than ever. So if you're completely relying on one utility versus the 600, different oil companies we have here in Connecticut, there's a lot less competition for that. And you're becoming much more reliant, on a utility that, continues to increase rates. So I think, again, we need to all work together to share our story. If you want a heat pump in your house, we'll install a heat pump in your house. If you want us to deliver a cleaner fuel to your oil tank, we'll deliver a cleaner fuel to your oil tank. If you want us to service your natural gas system, we'll service your natural gas system. We have the answer for it all. We just want to be heard.
And you want to make sure people have the choice, because the all-electric path, one choice is no choice. So what happens if the utilities are the only game in town? What happens then when you open your electric bill? And honestly, who can really afford it? This summer, people really got to see and feel with their own wallets and pocketbooks just how much green energy initiatives cost when there is not a lot of competition. And at what point can ratepayers be asked to absorb even more? So we're here to say there's other players in the game who are doing this now, lowering their carbon footprint, delivering a greener product. And as you said, Jack, you service natural gas. You can install heat pumps. By no means are we saying it's home heating oil is the only solution. We're just saying you need us in the game or there's going to be a problem. Greg.
I was just going to say, even to piggyback on the electricity or whatever, it's not just heating, it's all the movement of electric vehicles and so on. And again, it's that question, where are we going to get all the electricity in the United States or in the world as if everything is electrified? And, I think we're now turning the corner, hearing more about that. It's not going to be as readily available. And, and even to produce electricity in many instances, they do need fossil fuels to do that. And so, if our fossil fuel meaning a renewable fuel, and bioheat can net out to zero carbon emissions, then, we've won the game. And that's, how all the consumers can move forward.
Right, and electricity isn't necessarily net zero as well. Something's gotta fuel the grid. And if you can go to Eversource or the regional power grid, and it'll show you on any given day what's firing up the electric. It looks like you pulled up those numbers for me, Jack.
Yep. So right now in Connecticut, Steve Sack had let me know about this app called ISO to go. So right now I'm looking at the grid. Currently in Connecticut, 65% of the grid is being powered by natural gas, 26% nuclear, 8% renewables, 2% hydro. So even right now, we're relying on over 60% on natural gas to fuel the grid. So again, we want to tell the story that we can get to net zero at an even cleaner process.
And I think that's what excites me about, watching somebody like Jack, who's gotten involved in our family business. And as he said earlier in the podcast, that he, has known the business from day one. He's heard his father answer phone calls, respond after hours, be on a family trip where we had to assist, etc. So I think what the excitement is, not just for our family business that's existed for over 100 years, but for all the other dealers in Connecticut that are often multi-generational or family-owned or closely held businesses, that this is just such a turning point, and we have such an opportunity for the future to combat some of what the government might be short-sighted on in mandating to get us to the net zero, where we have this excitement. So that's what excites me, even as somebody who's more at the tail end of my career, as somebody like Jack, my son, who will hopefully be able to carry the torch for another generation and maintain these businesses as we move forward.
So real quick, we're running out of time, Jack. It looks like you wanted to add to that. I will give you that opportunity, but I also would, before we say goodbye, I really want to give you some time to tell us about some of those personal stories, and the customers that you've helped. There's such a connection here with our home heating fuel companies and the people we serve, and they're not just a customer, they're people. They mean a lot to you. What do your customers mean to you? And can you think of any personal stories where you've gone to help someone? I mean, you told us about the Christmas Day story. Anything else come to mind?
I've been doing this for a long time. I can remember even during a blizzard, this dates back a few years and so on, where, somebody's heating system in an older historical home that we service had cracked, and there was no solution. If we didn't preserve and, quickly jump to install that heating system, the weather forecast was for a few days of sub-zero weather. That house might have been vulnerable, and our team was out there, despite everybody else probably being shuttered in their home, making sure that that heating system got installed and that the heat was restored in that home in a timely manner. And it's a success story. I think we could, go on and on about helping many elderly people or people in need after hours. Our company also supports low-income energy assistance program. That's a whole other population that, can be served by the future here of renewable fuel. And there's so many stories of people that are just so grateful that if they were, on a alternate heat source, might even be shut off at certain times of the year or whatever, where we as a small company can work with them or work out some type of payment plan to make sure that they do have heat and hot water when they need it most. Probably endless personal stories about personal service, nice accolades folks come back and praise our staff for, because probably the most trusted person in their household often is that technician that they may have known for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. I mean, we have some folks at our company that have worked for generations also at the company, and they're really the friends of those customers, and they rely on that person coming to help them out.
Jack, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, I would say, we definitely have plenty of personal stories over the years, but what sticks in my brain is being a younger kid and hopping out on the oil truck with my snow pants for the day, so I could climb all the snowbanks and help the older drivers pull the hose to the fill pipe. Can remember being out in West Hartford, going down South Main Street in a snowstorm one time, and we were the only oil truck on the road. But those people that we were bringing fuel to were very appreciative. We were out in those conditions, bringing people the fuel. And then, as he had touched on, I personally help a lot of customers with energy assistance and also a program in Connecticut, Operation Fuel, that they can get grants through as well. And people can't be, any more appreciative of any dollar through a program, that we can get them, or whether we're holding an oil delivery ticket, they can use every penny worth of that delivery, or requesting more money, from the agencies for them. We know it really matters to them, and it's why we participate. We're out here every day trying to serve our customers the best way that we can. And, those are some of the reasons that we want our story, to be heard, that we do have the answer as well to get to net zero.
There is such a bright future with renewable fuels. Any consumers that are listening or interested in this, I think at the end of the day, you have to put a value on our type of personal service and our industry and the type of company and the product we're providing. And I think that value equates into peace of mind. If you do business with a company like ours or many of our peers in the industry, you're going to have peace of mind. So sometimes there's that old adage in the world too, you get what you pay for. And as Jack mentioned, back to the snowstorms or whatever, there are all different levels of companies and different pricing out there. And we're living in a world where lots of folks are looking for instant pricing, instant information. But I guess I would just leave with the thought, please do put a value on the full service, the future of renewable fuel, and the value that companies like ours can provide. Do have the comfort in your home that is necessary.
And we also believe that we have the best solutions, to serve the customers however they want to be served. We believe that we can provide all those solutions. We've been in business for over 105 years, just looking to continue that legacy of taking care of people.
I love it. Thank you so much, Greg and Jack, for joining us here today. We really enjoyed having you on Mission Possible. Until next time, folks.
And thank you for listening to Mission Possible. Be sure to tune in next time to hear more stories on how our members are making a difference. We'll see you then.